Good morning, traders. I am Emily Vani, the CEO of the Investment Banking Institute and your host here at NewsWare's Trade Talk. Joining me is trading anchor Bill Olson, who brings more than 30 years of institutional trading experience to our program. At Trade Talk, we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Today is Wednesday, February 26th. Stocks seem to be on more stable ground this morning after another wild ride in the markets yesterday. All the major indices closed out the regular session mixed. The Dow was able to hang on to green by 159 points or 0.37%. The S&P 500 and NASDAQ ended in the red. The S&P 500 gave up 28 points or about 0.5%. The NASDAQ sank 260 points or 1.35%. It's NVDA day today, Bill, but stocks seem to be headed towards the green. So let's get into today's action with what is happening in the markets this morning.
Hi, yes, good morning, Emily. I'm watching the S&Ps. The S&Ps are positive. We're up 0.4%, 0.41%. So, that's a good green opening. We were up higher. We were up, 0.52, but, there's a lot going on today. What's causing the market to move higher today, really reaction to earnings reports and a lessening of global tensions. On the earnings front, you had positive earnings last night from AXON, INTU, Workday, WDAY. They all were positive, and those stocks are running. They're ripping this morning. And then you have this morning, you had positive results coming from Budweiser and Lowe's, and even TJ Maxx has scored a nice earnings report. So yeah, that's all positive. And then you got to take a look at the geopolitical front. Geopolitical tensions are falling. The U.S. and the Ukraine, they're soon going to be signing that mineral rights for security guarantees agreement. That's positive. And you're seeing European stocks rip this morning as well because they see the lowering tensions as good for, their economic climate. Last night, the House, they passed that blueprint bill for the reconciliation bill overnight. It's still a long way to go. This is just, yard one. There's still, 90 yards to go here. So let's keep it in check. But it is a positive development that they were able to get it passed. President Trump, he's having a cabinet meeting today, and the State of the Union address that's next week. What else we got? 3M holding an analyst day today. They're coming out with news already this morning. I've been talking about that the last few days. After the bell today, you got earnings reports from NVIDIA, Salesforce, Snowflake. They're all set to report. So it's a big day for earnings. It's going to be a big catalyst towards the end of the day. And, that's something that the markets will be focusing on. But, let's quickly turn our attention and see what's happening. Let's see what's happening overseas. And, we gotta keep an eye on those. I mentioned earlier that, that the European stocks are running. But, if you look at them, it's amazing. They're up so much for the year. But you look at it today and you look at the DAX, it's up 389 points. That's 1.74%. Earnings reports come in positive. Banks are higher, insurance stocks are higher. It's a good day for German stocks. And in London, the FTSE, it's up, 61, 62 points or 0.72%. The talk of mining tariffs, that's positive for those mining stocks, and those mining stocks are running, on the FTSE this morning. Then you look at Paris, you look at the CAC, it's up 1.39%. What's leading the way? Luxury stocks. Luxury stocks are higher. Then you look last night and you look over at Japan. Japan fell a little bit, 0.25%. Not much. That's 95 points. The potential tariffs and upcoming election releases have the markets in a cautionary mode there in Japan. But then you look at the Hong Kong, the Hang Seng, it rose 3.27%. What? Consumer stocks, tech shares, all delivered strong gains. And, really good to see. You look at Shanghai in China, it was up 1.02%. Gains in banks, property stocks, tech stocks. They got that 2 sessions meeting next week where they're expecting some additional stimulus action. So that's all positive. And then we're turning our attention to oil. Now, oil is trading slightly lower again today. It broke the $70 barrier yesterday. WTI is at $68.83 a barrel. Brent is at $72.86 a barrel. That API data last night came in after the bell. It did decline unexpectedly because they were expecting, a build of 2.3 million barrels. Instead, it declined by 640,000 barrels for last week, the weekend in February 21. But oil is still weak. A lot of the geopolitical tensions are causing oil prices to fall. Today, later this afternoon, later this morning, we're going to get the EIA data. That's the official data. It's a little bit more accurate, but a lot of good things happening in the market this morning, Emily.
Bill, I was just about to say, some positive momentum going to today after a couple of sessions, at least four, if not more, really rocky ground here. And as we were talking before the show here on the East Coast, the sun is shining, birds were chirping this morning, some warm weather, and that positive sentiment seems to be in lockstep with the markets today. Of all the things you mentioned in there, there is this big headline when it comes to earnings. A number of big tech companies, including NVDA, are releasing earnings today. So let's start with earnings action. Bill, what is going on there?
Well, let's talk about what's already occurred. You look at the Kava Group, ticker CAVA, Charlie Apple, Victor Apple. These guys beat by 6 cents, and they did it on higher revenue. You look at the stock this morning, and guess what? It's higher. It's higher by 2.91%. Then we got something like Workday, ticker WDAY, William David, Apple Yellow. They beat by 14 cents. They did it on higher revenue. You look at Workday, it's up $27 or 10.88%. Let's talk Intuit, INTU. Intuit, you look at the ticker and it's up 8.17% this morning. Intuit beat by 74 cents and they did it on higher revenue. AXON, they beat by 27 cents on higher revenue. That stock's trading higher this morning by 13.36%. Then you had something like, TJ Maxx. They also reported a beat. They're up 2.24%. You have Anheuser-Busch. They had positive earnings. That stock's up 8.54%. And let's not forget Lowe's, ticker LOW. Their earnings came out this morning, and they're up 3.54%. So yeah, a lot of good earnings hit the tape last night and this morning. But today, you're right. After the bell is a big one because you got a lot of key companies coming out with earnings. Salesforce, CRM, Charlie Richard Mary, their EPS is $2.60. Expected move is 9.20%. Then you got Snowflake, SNOW, Sam Nancy Oscar William. Their EPS is 17 cents. Expected move is 12.35%. And then, of course, you got the big one, NVIDIA, NVDA, Nancy Victor David Apple. Their EPS is 84 cents. Expected move is 10.65%. So a lot of good earnings to keep track of this morning and a lot to be watching this afternoon. And earnings is really the focus on the market this morning, Emily.
But luckily, you have your NewsWare's, so you'll be following all of that data and information as it comes out. You're also able to sift through all of those earnings that did come out. And as soon as those earnings come out after the bell, you'll see them as they hit the tape. Real quick note here, TJ Maxx was your pick of the day yesterday, ticker TJX. We will get to a check-in on that by the end of the show. Now on to economic events. You did mention at least one report that we should be watching, that EIA stockpiles. There is some Fed speak on the docket today. So, Bill, give us a rundown of everything we should be watching when it comes to economic events.
Yeah, at 10 a.m. we get new home sales. 10:30 a.m. you get the EIA oil stockpiles report. Michael Barr, Fed Governor Michael Barr, he's speaking. He's speaking today at 11:45 a.m. Richmond Fed Bank President Thomas Barkin, he's speaking at 1 p.m. So decent stuff happening today. But that's really all I have for you in terms of economic data happening in the tape this morning, Emily.
And using your NewsWare, you have those earnings alerts, you have those economic alerts and the Fed speak alerts, and you still have other alerts. So you're able to sift through a lot of data and information, news like merger news, guidance news, shareholders meetings, buyback news, catalyst calls. You look at your stocks group together, like your FANG stocks and your Dow 30 stocks, Bill. You dig through all of this information each and every morning. So give us a rundown. What else do you see as possibly moving the markets today?
Just doing a quick data check. I'm looking at my Dow stocks. I got 14 higher, 15 lower, 1 unchanged. I'm looking at my FANG stocks. Apple's a little weak, but everything else is trading higher. So I do anticipate a good move. I mean, SPOOs are now up 0.47, so that's nice to see. And you're looking at some of the news behind the tape, and you're looking at Amazon. Amazon's got an event today. They're holding a devices event today, and it's expected they're going to be announcing an upgrade to their AI assisted program, Alexa. It's a big selling tool. It's in a lot of homes, and they apparently are doing a big upgrade to it, and they're going to be making an announcement on it sometime today. Keep an eye on shares of Amazon. Meta. Conflicting report here. There was a report last night that Meta's building a $200 billion data center, but this morning it came out and was denied. We'll have to see. I mean, a lot of things that come out are projections and just talk, so I don't put a whole lot of attention to it when we hear it come out from the company itself, rather than innuendos. Then we know it's going to be true. Tesla, Tesla is starting to gain. It is gaining a little traction this morning, but it's been getting hit. I mean, hey, investors are concerned that Musk is spending too much time in Washington and not enough time working on the automobile manufacturer. So, that has caused a lot of concern as of recently. Dow Jones 30 stocks, we can't talk NVDA earnings are after the bell. Chinese firms apparently are ramping up orders for NVIDIA's H20 AI chip. New story on UNH. Some senators are jumping on the bandwagon to look into United Healthcare's medical billing. I mean, listen, they're grabbing headlines. That's all they're doing. They're grabbing headlines. UNH is a real company. They've been around for decades. If there's Medicare billing fraud, it's probably there's a reason for it. There's probably an explanation for it. The only people that are pushing this narrative are the people that are set to benefit from it. So I don't really think they're gonna. I think this story just is going to go away on its own. Let's talk merger news. Let's talk Land's End. LE Eddie Lampert. He's requesting that the board pursue a sale of the company. Now, he's their largest shareholder, and he's saying, listen, you know what? We've done good, but, we're not getting the attention we deserve, for the great things that we've done here. So he's pushing for the board to sell the company. Land's End, ticker LE, in play. What else we got? We got guidance news, Jazz Pharmaceuticals, that's ticker JAZZ. They see full year 2025 adjusted EPS coming in $22.50 to $24. The street estimate is $22.03. Big uptick. Intuit, INTU, they see full year 2025 EPS coming in $19.16 to $19.36. Street estimates $19.32. Okay. 3M, remember, analyst meeting today, but they came out and they said this morning that they're back in their full year 2025 adjusted EPS view of 760 to 790. Street estimate 781. Okay, that's good. Lowe's, ticker LOW. Oh, this is a good one. Lowe's sees full year 2025 EPS $12.15 to $12.40. Street estimates $11.92. That's a big uptick. Gotta like that. And as I said, 3M. They're having an analyst shareholders meeting going on today. In terms of buyback news, we're talking General Motors, GM. They announced a new 6 billion share buyback program. Calmine Foods, that's MAIN. They announced a 500 million share repurchasing program. And we want to talk catalyst calls that are going on today. Eli Lilly, for LLY. JP Morgan just put them on a positive catalyst watch. Stocks had a nice run lately. Then we get LUMN, Larry, Uncle, Michael, Nancy. Citibank just upgraded the stock to buy and added it to its 90-day upside catalyst watch list. So a lot of good things in the tape this morning, Emily.
This is the type of data that NewsWare delivers daily. It's factual, it's market moving, and our alerting functions bring it to your attention as it happens. Go to www.newsware.com now and sign up for the trial and see for yourself the benefits that professional Newswire delivers. We've now made it to that time of the show for the Trade Talk pick of the day. Bill, what do you have for us today?
Pure Storage, PSTG, Paul, Sam, Tom, Grace. Earnings are out after the bell. EPS is 43 cents. Expected move is 14.60%. Looking at yesterday's call volume, we have 3,095 calls, 3095 versus 884 puts. That's more than 3 to 1. Call open interest 34,137 versus 28,345. Again, positive. Look at the major brokers; they have been raising the price targets, and I do like to see that. But the stock seems getting a little, it's getting a little ahead of itself this morning. I want to get in around 62, pay up to 62.30, I think. But that's my pick of the day: Pure Storage, PSTG, Paul, Sam, Tom, Grace, Emily.
putting the pieces of the puzzle there with that one, those number of data points and looking for that entry price ahead of earnings. It was a similar strategy that you employed yesterday with your pick of the day, TJ Maxx. And in just a moment, we will check in on that before we sign off. But before we get there, let's take a look at the current breaking headlines that have hit the tape in our Hot Off the Press segment. Bill, take it away.
Oil trades at 2025 lows on tariff fears and hopes for an end to the Ukraine war. You know that. BP, British Petroleum, to slash green spending and pivot back to oil. Well, should we see? Supermicro jumps after getting current with their SEC filings. That's positive. AAP, Advanced Auto Parts, Q4 same-store sales down 1%. Morgan Stanley thinks the street should be tempering their expectations ahead of Salesforce's earnings this afternoon. CRN, AstraZeneca's Serena-6 trial shows improvement in primary endpoint. BLMN, Boy, Larry, Michael, Nancy, Blooming Brands reports Q4 comparable restaurant sales slow down 1.1%. AER, AirCap announces a new 1 billion share repurchasing program. Target, TGT, Tom Grace Tom announces strategic partnership with Championship. Alcoa, AA, listen, it's all about the Trump tariffs. To impose tariffs on aluminum imports, that's going to cause the stock to move. McDonald's came out yesterday and they said that they're not going to impose any surcharges, when serving eggs as part of its meals, and will launch a $1 McMuffin on its apps in a move to attract more consumers. That's a good play. On semiconductor, ticker ON, the company initiated a restructuring plan that aimed at reducing operational costs, which resulted in layoffs of about 2,400 people. That's all I'm seeing this morning, Emily.
Okay, Bill, before we sign off today and get to trading on this Wednesday, let's do that check-in on yesterday's pick of the day. It was TJ Maxx, as we mentioned earlier in the show. You did give us a look at their earnings that they released this morning during your earnings rundown. They did report a Q4 EPS of $1.23. That was 7 cents better than the analyst estimate of $1.16. Revenue for the quarter came in at $16.35 billion versus the consensus of $16.19 billion. They did say this was sort of on the back of strong holiday sales. However, they did offer weaker than expected guidance. They see full year 2022 EPS of $4.34 to $4.43. The consensus there had been $4.60. They do see Q1 comparable store sales up 2% to 3%, and they did increase their quarterly dividend by 13%, even though they did offer that weaker than expected guidance. I think investors were excited about the strong quarter last quarter. So, Bill, how did your call work out?
Worked out. I mean, it worked out yesterday. I mean, listen, the stock opened up at 121.52. That which was a little high, I was hoping for, a little something. I was hoping for a little bit lower than that, but it did. It opened up at 121.52, fell to 121.50, and then it just ran. It just ran to 123.8, 123.38. So the 1% was there, and the stock did close at 122.70. And then you look at it this morning, the stock already hit 127.01. I mean, it's huge. I mean, the stock's holding at 126.90. There was a little weakness this morning when they saw that the guidance. I mean, the stock did fall a little bit, but that numbers that they came out were strong enough to keep this stock moving higher. And here we are. TJX trade 126.90 after yesterday's opening print of 121.90, 121.52. Big winner. TJ Maxx, big winner, Emily.
Strong win there, Bill, and you called that entry point nearly spot on yesterday. A chance for a win yesterday, a chance for a win after earnings today. And then we will check in with you tomorrow about today's Pure Storage pick of the day. Bill, thank you as always for your expert insight. Join us back here tomorrow and each weekday morning at NewsWare's Trade Talk when we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Again, I'm your host, Emily Advani, here with trading anchor Bill Olson. Traders, you know what to do. Let's go out there and make some green.